Hey gang, it's Dr. Fred. How you doing? I'm really excited to give you this webinar today because we are going to cover 3 secrets. How many secrets? To even more committed corrective care patients, lifetime patients, without selling, convincing, or being gimmicky. Okay, how frustrating is that? I mean, we've all been there. When you have a patient, maybe they have objections. We're giving them information, and then they have a question, then they have an objection. Next thing you know, we're trying to talk them into it. And then there's that awkward moment where you're convincing, and in that awkward moment where convincing turns into selling. And then it's like, what am I doing? I remember those moments of frustration. It's like, it's so irritating because you're trying to help them and do what's right. Yet, what's my insurance cover? And, I can't afford it. And then what about this? And I want a second opinion. And oh my God, right? This is what it makes me want to do. Have you ever felt that? And then I get calls all the time. Groupon is a big thing. And doctors complain about it, even though they do it, because what they're doing is you get them in for a massage, then you try and give them something else. And so some doctors feel like that's gimmicky. Well, the reason we're doing this is I don't want you to feel like that anymore. You don't have to feel like that anymore. You don't have to sell. You don't have to convince. There's a way to communicate where people want to be in your program. Okay, so here's what these 3 secrets are going to do. In this webinar tonight, you're going to learn how patients' objections are actually beliefs. They're not even objections. They're belief system. You're going to learn how your beliefs and the beliefs of your team are keeping you held back from growth and keeping you stuck where you're at. We're also going to learn why after 123 years, only 4.2, that's it. This many, after 123 years, 4.2% of Americans actually think chiropractic is for healthcare. That's our effort after 123 years. And then the next 60 to 90 minutes, we're going to give this webinar. This is going to totally shift your perspective on the mindset, not only of yourself and your team, but of patients, how to understand that mindset, how to understand their belief systems, how to change them so they move right into your program. You're going to create more lifetime patients than ever before. That's why we're doing this. I guarantee you're going to see something different, no question. So where did all this start? I graduated from LACC out of 1987. I found the philosophy in DE, and you come out of school, and I don't know, it was from fear of student loans, or you're just fired up about the principle, and probably a combination of both. But you come out, man, you want to save the world. I just want to get my hands on people. That's it, right? But you have no idea how to communicate. It's funny. I was coaching this doctor, and he said, how do I teach my associate conviction? How do I make them feel like I feel? And it's like, dude, you've been in practice 30 years. It takes a little time. So, and then we laughed about it because we weren't like that. We came out of school. I came out of school. I just want to get my hands on people. I had no idea how to communicate. I used to charge people $150 a month as an independent contractor to come 12 times. Okay, higher math says that's about $12.50 3 times a week, 12 times, $12.50 an adjustment. Guess what? Has anybody besides me ever felt like they ran a nonprofit organization? Okay, because that's what I felt like. So at some point, yes, I'm having fun adjusting people. No, I'm not making any money. So maybe I should get a coach. So I went and got a coach. And then, of course, what do they do? Hand you the script book. I look at the scripts, think, some of this is cool, some of it isn't. But one of the things, this is one of my experiences, the coach would tell me, you have to give your mission statement right out of the gate for the pre-consultation. So I would walk in, follow the scripts, and, I would say, our purpose is to adjust as many families as possible towards optimal health. Well, that was great with one type of patient. If you had a mom, stay-at-home mother of 4, but to a 24-year-old college kid, they look at you like you were weird. To the CEO, he'd look at you like he didn't care. I got a busy day. What's the deal? So I would go to my coach and I would say, the majority of these people, 7 out of 10 of them, are looking at me weird. Well, you have to say it because they need to know your purpose. And so what I found was there was other things like that where people would look at me weird, and I was going by the system that this expert was telling me, and it wasn't resonating with people. I mean, it definitely helped me build a practice. There's no question. I mean, at that point, it helped me get I would get maybe 3 out of 10 would prepay for corrective care, and I get maybe 15 to 20% that would make payments. So I was probably about 5 out of 10 at that point. And if you just pile, if you're willing to work hard enough, are you guys familiar with that? And you just pile enough people in there and you get 1 out of 2, you can develop a successful practice. But the problem that bothered me, here's what bothered me and frustrated me. Not only was it the looks and things I was saying that didn't resonate with people, but I couldn't understand why I would say the same thing to every person. Because literally, that's what my coach told me to do. Say the same thing to every person all the way through. Some people got it and other people didn't. Why is that? And then I realized that's the problem. I'm saying the same thing to every person, and not every person is the same person. And that was the problem. And then a light went off. So I remember one day I had a new patient. It was a middle 40s businesswoman. You know, I was kind of in a corporate area. And she was sitting in the exam room waiting for me to go in there. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going in there and saying this one, because I knew how she was going to look at me, saying this one dumb line anymore. And I kicked my feet back up on my desk and I said, what do I really want to say? And I sat there for a minute and I thought about an 8-point outline, which now is the elite pre-consultation. And I just went in there and said, okay, these are the 8 things I want to say. I went in there, delivered in about 3.5 minutes. And it was funny because at the end, she said, wait, doc, so what you're telling me is my spine controls my health, overall health. And I went, oh my God, like angels started blowing trumpets and, you know, there were harps and, you know, so this big light went off and I went, that's it. Oh my God, I had to do that myself. I need to find out how to communicate. And so from that moment forward, I started studying NLP. I started studying life coaching. I started seeking communication coaches. I started, you know, looking at Cialdini's book, Influence. I started creating this patient management system that was based on human behavior. So what I did learn before that point was for 11 years, I learned how to do things the hard way. That the moment I kicked my feet up on my desk, that was it. I learned how to do things the hard way. And I was tired of doing it the hard way. So when I started studying all these things, 4 years of studying human behavior, how people make life-changing decisions. I mean, doesn't that sound like chiropractic? When a person comes in, don't we want them to make a life-changing decision? They come in with back pain. We want to inspire them to make a life-changing decision to live their life differently. Isn't that what we do? Well, when I did that, I started studying life coaching and Cialdini and NLP and how people develop belief systems and how to change those. I went from 30% prepay to 70% prepay. That was a game changer overnight, right? And before, with 30% prepay, I had about a 40 PVA, which means in corrective care, you x-rayed 36 visits. They would go through one phase of care and the average patient would quit. Yes, you know, we have people that accept lifetime care. We do all that. And there's people that quit in the first 2 days. So I had a 40 PVA. After those 4 years, within those 4 years, I went from a 40 PVA to a 70 PVA. What's that mean? People were either 7 out of 10, right? We're either in, we're in for 100 visits. So the way it was, out of 10 patients, they were either in for 100 visits or they were out in the first week. There was nothing else. It's like they just didn't want to do it. So 8 out of 10 would either quit in the first week or they were in for a lifetime because we had over a 70 PVA, right? So that was a game changer. And then the next 4 years was so easy. I didn't have to market. I mean, we were breaking records. I was sustaining a practice at such a higher level than the original level, and it was easy. People came in. We changed their belief system. You didn't have to talk to them. You didn't have to sell them on Monday. You didn't have to sell them on Wednesday. They made their appointments. We were breaking records, and we saw almost twice as many people with a fraction of the effort. Life became easy. And then one day, you know, I looked at my schedule. There was, you know, like 232 people on it that day. There was a bunch of people with a bunch of re-exams and a bunch of new patients. And I thought, man, you know, I'm really close to having, you know, to hit my goal is 1,000 a week. So I was about 90 days away from 300 a day. Now, it doesn't matter what your number is, but you know, when people believe in it, they live it, they make their appointments, they refer. So you can do whatever number you want. But anyway, I looked at my schedule and I said, man, there's got to be something better. I wanted to change the profession. And by putting self-empowerment and communication and changing beliefs in there, I thought other people need to do this, because if I can do it, they can do it. There's no question. All you got to do is read the right book, do whatever. But I can create that. I can show them how to apply it. So I started Elite Coaching years later. And then what I found is I could show people how to communicate. I could show them systems. But the problem was their own belief systems. That was like a whole nother thing. I could show them a system, and if you just did this, it would work. But people, I found out chiropractors were people too. They brought in their own limiting beliefs. And so then what I started to figure out was when I cleared the limiting beliefs in the chiropractors and their team, and I showed them how to do that to other people, their practices went through the roof. To what level? I spent another 16 years intensive studying, NLP, Tony Robbins, reading research, not only more Cialdini, but there's tons of books, so much research from Harvard and Stanford and all these things. Corporations today are using research on human behavior, that if your product or service has these four qualities, only four, that your customers, in our case patients, will use your product or service, chiropractic, as a subconscious habit, meaning they don't have to think about it, they do it automatically. So I created these boot camps, and we started clearing limiting beliefs in the doctors and teams. We started showing them how to do that in other people. We started adding these qualities in there and showing you how to do that in chiropractic. Then we saw that the majority of chiropractors, 93.6% of the chiropractors, increased their new patient commitment to care 30 to 50% in over 200 doctors. We did this in over 200 doctors in the last couple of years. Increased commitment to care 30 to 50% at the rate of 93.6. So that means if you follow this system, you have a basically 94% chance of increasing, going from, maybe whatever your conversion rate is, at least 2 more a week, or whatever it is, 3 to 5 more out of 10. What kind of difference would that make in your life, in their practice? So what I want to do, this is 20 years now. This is 20 years of work, hundreds of thousands of dollars. My God, weekends and seminars, books. I'm rubbing my face. I can't even tell you how much work. Why? It's not because I'm smart. It's because we all love chiropractic. We all love corrective care. We all believe that this should be the primary health care in the country. And, whether or not that actually happens, but we sure can do a hell of a lot better than 4.2% in 123 years. And I think if we adopt and match the model, that we can do this in 10 years. So the reason I'm giving this webinar is I want to give it to you the easy way. You don't have to do the hard work. So what you're going to learn tonight, what you're going to see tonight, is a new opportunity. These doors are like opening your mind to a whole new concept, right? There's an opportunity for you to change the lives of more people, more committed patients, create more lifetime patients than ever before. And you're going to see what this opportunity is. But here's the opportunity. So we're walking up this trail. Here's our practice. Look, you're walking up the mountain. There's the mountain. You are on the trail. If you're in practice, you are on the trail. But what happens? Insurance companies change. We want to go cash, or, the company changes in your environment, or, the staff gets pregnant. You have stuff. You're trying to incorporate a corrective technique, whatever it is. You're going to climb that mountain. And so you can climb it. You can push the boulder uphill. I was a wrestler. The problem with being a wrestler and a martial artist is you can carry the boulder and you can carry it uphill. It doesn't mean you're supposed to. So is anybody besides me tired of carrying that boulder? Are they tired of trying an effort? If your growth is effort, you're not doing the right thing. So here's the opportunity. Boom. We want to show you how to take the gondola. Now look at all those trees down there. See, somebody had to hack their way through to put up those poles, put up those cables, put the gondola up there, put up the motor, have everything done so you don't have to push the boulder uphill. You don't have to climb the mountain. You can get on the gondola, right? You go up a gondola skiing, you pay the ticket, bang, you go up the gondola, you whiz up there, you have a great experience. That growth can be easy. And if it's not easy, then if you did something a little different and you got on the gondola, then you can reach your vision easier than ever before. And that's what this webinar is about. How cool is that? So here's a question. Right now, do your patients use chiropractic? What's that mean? What's use chiropractic? Well, they quit when they're out of pain. They say, doc, just crack my back, no matter what you tell them. Doc, what's my insurance cover? Do they commit to care and then they quit after the first phase? Do they go through correction and then they don't go into lifetime? That's getting a great result, right? Still a great result. It's a better result than quitting when they're out of pain. But then they just use chiropractic for correction. I mean, fortunately, they'll have a better life than if they didn't. But is your goal, my question to you is your goal lifetime care? Are you under lifetime care? Would you like your patients to act like you do and believe what you do? Because what do we believe? We want patients that believe chiropractic. We believe in it, right? Because what do we say? God, I'm really tired today. Oh, man, I feel like I'm getting sick. I need to get, what's that word? Adjusted. Right? Oh, I mean, oh man, my shoulder hurts. I need to get adjusted. Oh, my sinuses are bugging me. I need to get adjusted. Oh, I'm just tired. I need to get adjusted. These are people that believe in chiropractic. See, here's the thing. People live, and this includes us, we live what we believe. That's it. That's true. Your belief systems determine your behavior. Hey, there's countries, millions of people have been killed over spiritual or religious beliefs, right? I mean, belief systems, people give their life for belief systems. We can go on and on and on. So all you got to do is look at Hitler. There was, he got a bunch of people to believe things. Look at Jesus. There was a bunch of people to believe things. So when people believe something and they follow a leader and say, I'm that leader, I'm a world-class leader, put your finger on your chest, I'm a world-class leader. You are building the culture. You're the visionary. You create the belief systems. You create the culture. And when they follow those belief systems, they live a better life. Isn't that why we're into chiropractic? But that's not using chiropractic. That's believing chiropractic. So here's the big domino. Are you ready? Here's the big thought. Whoa, let's open those doors. Here we go. Connection before correction. Connection before correction. What's that mean? Relationship before they're going to get corrected. Now, what's connection? It's not just rapport. It's not just, well, I want to be liked and accepted. Well, I want them to like me. That's not connection. Connection isn't liking something. Here's true connection. Aligning beliefs. Connection is aligning beliefs. When you align beliefs, right, then you have a deeper connection. Look at your spouse. Did you align beliefs? Do you have the same beliefs? Now, maybe not on everything, but it's certainly on your core values, right? Look at your friends. Do you have similar beliefs? Look, when you go to a chiropractic seminar, why do chiropractors hug each other? Because we go, oh my God, thank God, give me a hug. I have somebody that finally believes the same thing that I do, right? I battle in the world against other belief systems, against pharma, against vaccination, against this. Finally, why am I hugging another chiropractor? Because we have the same beliefs. How refreshing is that? So imagine if connection is really aligning beliefs, that you can help your patients, more patients, align beliefs. Then when they do, correction is easy, gang. If you change the subluxation between their ears, you align beliefs here, you're going to be able to fix the one in the body. And that's it. Here's Dr. Chris Hagan. I met him at a CBP certification seminar. He said, Dr. Fred, you know what I love about your system? It's the science of human behavior married with the science of spinal correction. That's so awesome. And that's really true. Why do we get 30 to 50% commitment to care? Why do practices grow 30 to 50% in 90 days? Because it's the science of human behavior. There are a limited amount of behavioral patterns. Once you understand them, you understand the person in front of you, man, it's easy to move them through this. Okay? So I think that's really cool. I love it. I'm going to go to the boot camps, but, right? I have to learn CBP first. Why? Because if I can't correct them, I can't deliver on something I promise, and I totally get it, and that's integrity, and I get it. You know, you guys have such an advantage because I'm an old timer. And, you know, I was back in the days, I started practice when it was all extension, compression, traction, man. You know, Dee talks about those days when, man, we had to learn how to communicate because we didn't know how to fix them. They weren't even looking at the thoracic spine then, right? you're putting somebody with a flattened thoracic spine and cervical kyphosis into extension compression traction. I mean, you guys know this doesn't work. So he says, I had to learn CBP first. Great. Guess how you learn the technique? You learn it by practicing on enough people, right? And so what he found was he went through that, then went through advanced certification, gets advanced certified. A year and a half later, calls me, man, I'm not fulfilled. Why? Because people still walk out. So he witnessed people getting great corrections. So what he did is sign up for the boot camps. I'm finally ready. I love the Science Human Behavior, Science CBP. Goes to the boot camp, realizes he's the most advanced person in there. Technically sound. The guy is amazing. Just a great person in general. Thank you, Chris. But we noticed is there were people there that got better commitments, had a more successful practice. They weren't as knowledgeable on technique, but they were still getting great corrections. Why? Because the technique works. Just put a freaking dental roll under their neck, right? And 13-degree correction in 60% of your patients. So I said, before I gave this at CBP New Jersey about a month ago. And I said, Chris, before I go there, what's the one thing you want me to tell as many people as possible that think they need to get correction down first? And he said, the technique, this is it, is only effective as a patient commitment to care. Quotes. That's it. I mean, if they don't commit to care, the technique doesn't work. Thank you from one of the most advanced certified corrective care doctors. So if you're less than that, it's still the same thing. The technique only works when patients commit to care. So what I'm going to show you today, one opportunity here, is how $10,779 can bring you over $110,000, right? But you don't have to do that. We're going to show you what this is. Forget about the numbers. How you can make your investment back 10 times. In fact, we guarantee it 10 times. So if you told Warren Buffett, well, I could invest this money and make 10 times my investment back in a year, what should I do? And it's guaranteed. Okay, great. So anyway, let's show you how that you can take an experience, learn human behavior, and make it so impactful that you'll increase and create more lifetime patients than ever before. So let's look at where we're at. The average commitment to care across the profession is 20 to 50%. That means 2 to 5 commit to care. That's the average in chiropractic. That means 5 to 8 are walking out. Now, what's the PVA? Now, PVA, let's define PVA. That's patient visit average. That means how many visits does the average person stay? So if you take your weekly volume, let's say you're at 100, we'll say 150, right? And you have 10 new patients a week, then you go 150 divided by 10 is 15. Your PVA is 15. If you have 200 a week and you get 5 new patients, then 200 divided by 5 is 40. So that's how many visits the average person stays. That's PVA. The average PVA across profession is 18. 18. So that means it doesn't matter what your intention is. When you calculate your PVA, now what's lifetime PVA? Well, that would mean if you're doing corrective care, 6 months or 3 times a week, or 3 months, right? 36 at least. You need a 60, 70, 80, 90 PVA to show that majority of the average patient is going in lifetime care. What do we do in the profession? 18. This is why, well, I'll show you. I'll show you why we're there. Why? Okay, let's go to the next slide. How about that one? Let's go with this. Now, here's the segregation, the distribution of the population. Innovators, those are people that love everything new, man. The new Apple Watch, dude, they're sleeping on the sidewalk. 2.5%. Early adapters, they'll say, you know what, I'm going to sleep on the sidewalk, but I'm not going to go 3 days in advance to be the first 10 people. I'm just going to go the night before, but I'm still willing to sleep on the sidewalk. 2.5 and 13.5, that's 16%. Early majority, 34%. Now, these are the people that say, shine that noise. There's no way in hell I'm camping on the sidewalk. I don't even like camping, okay? So I'm definitely not sleeping on a sidewalk. Sorry, campers. I camped. I was in the Boy Scouts, another story. However, the early majority, now they'll go the week later or 2 weeks later, but they have an objection. These are people that want to know what their insurance covers. They're going to know, do I get a second opinion? Now, they're going to commit to care, but you're going to have to know a little bit. Like, you're going to have to be very confident. You're going to have good communication. You're going to have to know your scripts. I mean, you're going to have to be a pretty confident person. So 16 and 34, that's 50%, right? Higher math. Sorry, I stuttered there. So if we have 20 to 50%, the 20% comes from the innovators and early adapters. You know, a little bit of the early majority. That's like all you got to do is give them a report of findings. They're going to commit. The 20 to 50%, you're getting into the early majority. This is where some people don't know how to handle those objections. These are people that are really good, you know, and they're confident they can get the majority of 50. Now we go to late majority, that's another 34%. Oh, these people have issues. Man, they don't buy. These are the skeptics. Okay? So if you're really good and you study communication, you had a little bit of coaching, maybe you can get inside the late majority. So you guys know what your commitment to care is. And if you're in the late majority, hey, you're doing pretty well. The majority of the profession isn't in the late majority. But you've done, to get the late majority, these people have objections. This is a second opinion. You know, there's all this stuff. There's all the objections in there, right? That's to 84%. So if you're in the midst of somewhere between 50 and 84%, you're getting some of these. Okay, now what we find in elite, people that have gone through our boot camps, our patient management system, the bell curve, we look at that bell curve, the majority, the average in elite is 70 to 84% commitment to care. That means the person that goes through this training to change beliefs is well in the middle to the high late majority of getting consistent commitment to care, because these people, you have to change their beliefs. Their beliefs are deeply rooted. Now we look at laggards, a lot of times you don't even want those, but we have people in elite that are into the low 90% commitment to care. That means they're well into the laggards. That means they know how to change beliefs. So 70, 84% commitment to care. You're getting the majority of the late majority. Lifetime care, we have 78 to 86% of those go into lifetime care. So that means an average of 8 out of 10 commit to care, 8 out of 10 go into lifetime care. Now look at your practice now. Look at your busiest day, Monday, Wednesday, whatever it is. And imagine if you took your peak day and 8 out of 10 of those went into lifetime care, and you had 8 out of 10, look at all your new patients, you had 8 out of 10 moving into corrective care. Man, not only would that grow, but it would be easier. You'd have more people training them easier. Here's the distribution. Now, that this isn't just category of people. These are mindsets. These are mindsets, the innovators, early adapters, early majority, late majority, laggards. These are all belief systems. Innovators, what do they believe? I want the latest and greatest. Laggards, what do they believe? No way, I will never buy an iPhone 7. And even though we're on an iPhone 10. Okay? But you can change these belief systems. Tony Robbins, one of the top business coaches in the world. I sat through Business Mastery, paid $10,000. If you want to achieve success, all you need to do is model. What's that mean? Mimic. Model those who have already succeeded. There you go, man. That's it. If there's a wheel, just roll the dang thing. Yes, you got to buy the wheel. But you can go out and chip one out in the backyard. If there's a big oddball rock and you want to chip it into a wheel and put a little axle in there and some ball bearings and grease it all up and roll that wheel and then see what rolls crooked, chip it out again, you get the basic idea. Or you can buy one that rolls already perfectly and just roll the freaking thing. You know, what do you want to do? It's your leveraging, right? So the most successful business coach, one of the most in the world, says just model. Okay, who are we modeling? Let's see. Well, here's Dr. Ben Gillis, never been to CBP, didn't know anything, needs a coach, tired of pushing the boulder uphill, grew his practice 50% within 90 days. Now, he actually didn't even start. You know, this isn't someone that's starting at 60 a week. You know, this was somebody that I think it was 280 a week and then blew up to 400 in 90 days. But he wanted to achieve that. Now, you may not want that growth, but he wanted it. Well, and now he went from marketing and PR people to all referrals, commitment to full care. Why? Because we have people committing. You don't need to market. You don't need to do that. That's pushing the boulder uphill. Developed an empowered team, changed the beliefs in his team, increased. Now, he invested $20,000 for his whole coaching program. Now, remember I said 10 times your investment? He increased his collections over 200,000 in his first year. So I think it was about 250,000, invested 20,000, joined the coaching program, and made over $200,000 back. Does he love what he's doing? Yes, because he's made even more now. Here's Chris and Lauren. I talked to Chris, 3 years, CBP certified. No. Finally joins, was in a management group, 4 PR people, patient after patient after marketing. Life was stressful. Increased their practice 50%. Let me get this out of here. Within 3 months. So 50% 3 months. What did I tell you? 30 to 50% in 3 months. Why? They learn how to change beliefs. What was that reason? They learn how to, say it out loud, change beliefs. Thank you. Not only in them, but in their patients. So when they first started coaching, they paid the $20,000. I said, first of all, fire all your PR people. Like, what? Are you crazy? 30 days, all the PR people were fired. They started growing immediately, fired their PR people, didn't need them anymore, no longer market, increased their collections. Not only they paid $20,000, over $200,000, but at the same time, they went 80% cash. So imagine you get rid of all your insurance and you still increase your collections $200,000 plus. That's amazing. Great job, Chris and Lauren. They followed it, man. They learned human behavior. In the last 18 months, they created 311 lifetime patients in 18 months. They are the elite coaches. Practice is fun again. They coach the lifetime. We have a whole culture, a whole pillar. We have 5 pillars. They coach the lifetime culture, how to create over 8 out of 10. By the way, they get 85% commitment to care. And so get this. First 36 visits in their clinic, $3,600. Second 36, $3,600. Plus, they have 92% commitment of those into lifetime care. So that means people are paying 10 grand. So about 4 weeks ago, Chris was watching the news and found out that 62%, what percent? 62% of the people in his county are on welfare. So in a predominantly welfare county, people are paying $10,000 and bringing their families. So what's your belief system? Now, it was funny after talking to Chris it's like, oh my God, what a testimony on belief system. Like, I know, I wish I didn't see that. I didn't know that was possible. So it's like, put it out, watch the news, right? And I can't listen. Because nobody told them they couldn't do what they're doing. Nobody told them they couldn't do it. They just followed a system. What did they do? Modeled. Thank you. Corey and Shayla Oldham. Increase, here's the lead coach. Increase practice, 60%, double their income within 6 months. Imagine if you can do that. And it's easy. They have a referral-only practice. He's an elite coach, great guy, amazing leader. Went from a pain-based practice, wanting to do correction, but had a coaching system that communicated about pain. And immediately we changed the model, learned to change beliefs, boom, increase like that. So here's a new opportunity from working hard and marketing and pushing and convincing and selling into let's get on the gondola, man. These people, they bought the ticket, got on the gondola, man, now they're reaching their vision. So the longer they stay, your patient, the more you can play. What's that mean? These people are having fun and a whole lot more. I mean, we have so many of these testimonials. When you're at the top of the mountain, man, the view is great. The longer patients stay, the more you can play. So who is this good for? Who is going to benefit from this, what they're going to see here tonight? Well, doctors who want full spinal correction. That's what LEAD is about, man. Hey, the principle is true. Subluxation causes disease. People don't live the same when they're subluxated. So you want full correction? Then this model is for you because you get better commitment to care. Doctors who want to create the most lifetime patients. This is all based on human behavior, right? There's a way that you can get more people into lifetime care. Doctors who don't want to have to rely on marketing. If you're tired of working hard. I mean, I did it, man. I had a 500 a week practice, $450 a week. Before I learned how to communicate really well. And then we blew up over 700. But at 400, 450, I had to get 40 new patients a month. Because with a 40 PVA, people were quitting every day. So the whole reason I did this is at a higher volume. People at a higher volume fail faster. Why? Because if you're at 150 and you have 2 people a week leave, and you're at 500, you have 15 people a week that leave. So higher volume practices experience more pain. They also need more new patients. So that bigger machine takes more coal, man. It takes more wood. That means I'm shoveling coal, a lot harder than someone that's at 200 a week, right? When you don't have the right systems. So if you're tired of shoveling coal, that's what this is for. If you just want it to be easy, man, if you just want to put that plane on autopilot, then let's get engaged. So where are we today? Where's the profession today? Well, Gallup did a study, 2015. In 2015, 14% used chiropractors in that year. Dude and dudettes, we haven't even reached the tipping point. 123 years. That was 120 years. Seriously, we haven't even reached tipping point. Dentists did it in 40 years. People don't even like going to the dentist. Friggin' people love chiropractors, and we haven't even hit the tipping point. What else? They polled all of America, and when given a choice of 5 different healthcare providers that they would see about neck and back pain, said, you got neck and back pain, you got 5 choices, who would you go see? 54% said they would go to an MD. Now, how much research does it show that medical care sucks for low back pain? Because people can find whatever they believe. You know what? There's research that says massage therapy is more effective than a chiropractor. There's tons of research that show chiropractic is the best. So people can find whatever they need. They find, right? Seek and you shall find. Whatever you're seeking with intention, you're going to find. You can find information that says vaccinations are the best thing since 2-ply toilet paper. You can find tons of information that say vaccines will kill you. So what are they looking for? The bottom line is this leads to the most common objection. I want a second opinion. What's this mean? America has a belief system. And if you don't change that belief system, you're going to run into objections. I want a second opinion is not an objection. It's a belief system. So here's the thing. Here's a great premise. When you know all objections are belief systems, then you don't try and battle it with information. I have to change your belief systems. Well, let's look at it. I can't afford it. There's a belief systems patients have. That's a belief system. Well, how do we know it's a belief system? Look at Chris and Lauren. 62% are in welfare. They don't have problems people finding the money. Well, they just get the rich people. No, that's not what it is. Because you know why? Because people tell you they can't afford your care, and then they want to show you the new car out in the parking lot. They're thrilled to tell you about their family vacation, but they tell you, Doc, I can't afford your care. Are you tired of hearing that? That's a belief system. I don't have time. Well, you know what? Then why is there the mantra, if you want something done, give it to the busiest person? It's not that they don't have time. It's not a priority. You didn't know how to make it a priority. You didn't know how to change your beliefs. What's my insurance cover? Hey, people want to use their insurance if they pay for it. But when they believe their insurance isn't going to get them what they want, then they don't care. That's changing their belief systems. How about I don't believe in chiropractic? That seems to be the most ridiculous thing ever, right? So is chiropractic alone a belief system? How can we change that? Well, it seems like, that's like saying you don't believe in gravity. I can't say that I've ever gotten a patient commit to care with that comeback. Maybe you have. I definitely haven't. So I think we need to do better. My spouse can't make it. Well, shoot. Gee, my spouse can't leave work. Well, let me ask you a question. Did they ever take a half day when you wanted to go on a 3-day weekend? Did they ever take a day off, to play golf or do whatever? You know what I mean? So their spouse leaves work or makes an exception when it's really important. Okay, I have to think about it for 24 hours. That's a belief system. We don't use credit cards. That's definitely a belief system. Okay, the problem is if you're hitting them with information, it's because you haven't been trained. You haven't been trained to even know. Did you know I can't afford it was a belief system? Well, you say that now, but did you handle it like one when you're being presented? Or did you just give them information? Or just try and get them more concerned on their health? Have you noticed a lot of them walk out anyway? Maybe some commit, but a lot more walk out. The point is you haven't been trained. So here's another big domino. Imagine if you saw your responsibility to change beliefs. Imagine if you saw yourself as a self-empowerment coach. What do self-empowerment coaches do? They help people get through challenges, change their belief system, and lead an empowered life. Doesn't that sound like chiropractic? This is a professional self-empowerment communication training. That's what this webinar is about. It's about changing beliefs. So here's secret number 1. So I'm going to give you a secret on human behavior. Here's why. This is why we're at 4.2 and not at 42 0.2, which is really where we should be, at least that, because we haven't been trained in a self-empowerment type of system, right? The thing is, I've spent 20 years in that system, and that's why we get 30 to 50% growth. That's why we guarantee our results. Here's secret number one. Secret number one to changing beliefs: how getting multiple agreements will make decisions easier without handling objections. So what's this about? It's about taking people through a multiple agreement process. So here's the big secret. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters what they say. Have you ever noticed that you can tell them anything you want, but it doesn't change their mind? But as soon as they say something, I mean, look at, are you married? Have you been in a relationship? How many people know you can tell somebody 8 million times and all of a sudden they get it and they say it, and all of a sudden it's the best idea in the world? Now, you all know, and you're laughing at that because you go through this with your partner, right? It doesn't matter what you say, it matters what they say. And so this is the same thing for patients. It's no different than your spouse or whoever you're in a relationship with, right? So what do? We look at the law of human behavior, commitment and consistency from Cialdini. What's that mean? When a person takes an action or makes a decision, meaning they make an agreement with you, it becomes essential for them to behave in a way that's consistent. So what's that mean? When a person makes an agreement, they want to be consistent with that agreement. Why? Because when they state it, when they decide in their mind, it wires in their body and changes their physiology, and they feel different. Have you ever went to buy something and the salesperson's giving you all these great facts and they're sitting there talking and you're like, you know what? It makes sense, but. Have you ever had a patient? Doc, it makes sense, but. Why? Because they didn't agree. You gave them information. So what do? Well, we work this into our scripts. All the scripts do, trust me, is they guide the topic. Many of the scripts that we have are steps. There's really one script I ask you to memorize verbatim. It's the first 3.5 minutes. It gets the patient from pain into posture and concerned about organs in a bigger picture. There's 14 agreements in 3.5 minutes. 14. Now then, when we focus on overall health, what if they have 15, 18 health problems, which a lot of people do these days? Now you have 14 plus you have another 18 agreements. Then step 2, now you review all those. You get another 18. So basically and then you go to the exam, you get a bunch more. And you're talking about their health problems and posture, another 18. So basically what's going to happen, you're getting about 60 to 70 agreements in 30 minutes. All those agreements changes what they feel. It changes their mind because it changes what they feel in their body. So the scripts in Elite that we show you in day 1, day 2, and through the whole patient management program, the way they go in Lifetime Care, is not because the scripts are so great. Yeah, the scripts are are detailed for a reason. And when you follow them, it guides the topic. But all these agreements are weaved into it. All the human behavior is weaved into it. Okay, and because of that, you just plug in the first 3.5 minutes. Now, I gave this talk at CBP New Jersey. There's a guy in I believe it's Jersey and New York, I forgot Gary. And a week and a half after he plugged in, got invested in the boot camps, plugged in the first 3.5 minutes, said, man, this woman was actually crying in the pre-consultation. Now, it's not about crying. It's about she realized the dramatic effect. And he said, I had 2 patient commitments, and all I did was change the pre-consult. All I did was the first 3.5 minutes, got 2 more people to commit that may not have committed if it wasn't for those 14 agreements. There you go. Bang. I mean, it makes a big difference. 3.5 minutes can make a difference. Now, so what we also do, now here's how you change beliefs. This is right from Tony Robbins. 5 steps. How many steps? To eliminate all objections. How many objections? All of them, because they change beliefs. So we eliminate them before they even happen. So here's a quick preview. We actually have a 6-video product on this that you can go to Elite Coaching or ask us about. Man, you learn these 5 steps. Boom. I'm going to show you the results of learning these. Number 1, I have a full spine problem. Now, when they say my whole spine is weak, how do you lead them to say, wow, my whole spine is weak? What's it do? It eliminates doc, crack my back. It eliminates what's my insurance cover. It eliminates symptom care. Why? Because now they have a bigger problem. When they say I don't want to be like this anymore, this is a decision. Before anybody changes their behavior or makes a life-changing decision, what do they say? I'm done, right? Why do people get divorced? I'm done. Why do your kids get grounded? I'm done. Why do people go on diets? I'm done. Why? Because they say, I'm done. I don't want to be like this anymore. This initiates massive change. Now, once you create emotional emotion, you eliminate other options. So what's that mean? You ever notice people will say, they keep going back to the same thing. Doc just cracked my back. I couldn't get it this time. You show them all this stuff, and what do? Doc just cracked my back. Why? Because people repeat patterns. This is part of the human behavior you're going to learn. You're going to learn why people repeat patterns. Okay? So how do you eliminate other options? I say to that person, are you done getting short-term gain, meaning pain relief, for long-term consequence, meaning getting more and more health problems? Your body's getting weaker and aging faster. Are you done doing that? They have to say, I'm done doing what I've done before. I'm done going to physical therapy. I've been to all these medical doctors. I don't want to do that anymore. Because if you don't eliminate other options, once they say, I'm committed to change, and you don't eliminate it, they're going to go back and do the same thing. It's where their brain's wired. It's subconscious behavior, man. Then they have to know what they do want, because people move towards goals. So this is pleasure-based. Pain initiates change. Pleasure makes it permanent. So they got to know what they want. So what do? 23-year health and life goals. Find out what life do you want to create. Now they move towards the life they want. Then prove the correction, right? So what's that mean? Once we show them a corrected x-ray, lay them on a dental, man, bang, it's done. Now they went through all these. You prove the correction. You take away all objections. So study that, man, not just this right here. Get the video product. And it will change everything, I guarantee you. So, hey, Miles Fortner, I met him when he was a student at Parker. Man, when I get out, I'm going to join Elite CBP certified in school. Miles comes out, collects 12. After a year and a half, he's collecting $12K a month. Well, his overhead is about 10 to 12K. He's got a wife and 2 kids, and he's a primary sole provider. So finally he calls me up, man, I'm frustrated. He sees about 60 people a week making about $12K a month trying to do corrective care, but obviously there's not a lot of people going through it. So he finds the money, right? Finds $20,000. What happens when he learns how to change beliefs, learns the business model and technique? He's already certified, right? So does correction make success? Well, if you ask Miles, he would say no. In the first year, $20,000 investment goes from 60 a week to 150 to 180 a week. Now he's making $60,000 a month. $12,000 a month. You're buying groceries, and that's about it. $60,000 a month. That's a lot of corrected patients. What's his life like? Okay, now he's a lifetime member. Here's the difference. It's not about the money, gang, but what's the difference in lives between $12,000 a month and $60,000 a month? Those are relationships. Those are people that come back and say, Doc, you saved my life. That's financial security. That's going into a report of findings without, man, I got to close this person because we got to pay our bills. That's certainty and security, and that's joy. Okay? So let's look at someone else that did this. Nona Javid, I met her. She was 2 months out of school. Met her actually at a CBP seminar, started coaching, and she was renting out a room out of a doctor's office. So she's 2 months out of school in one treatment room. $20,000. She borrowed the money from her dad, borrowed $20,000 from her dad. She owned her own practice in a year. She collected, in the next 18 months, she collected over $500,000. So imagine you're renting a room to 2 years later, you made $500,000. How many students come out of school and 2 years later, they made $500,000? What did she learn to do? Change beliefs, learn systems. The stuff works. It's human behavior, man. It's a science. Follow the system, you get the same results. That's 10 times, right? We say 10 times your investment. There you go. That's more than 10 times. Your secret number 2. Are you ready? What number? Hold up number 2. Thank you very much. Now let's identify your beliefs so you can easily, what can you do? Easily increase your retention and make your practice even more fun and rewarding. Okay? So what are chiropractors' beliefs? Well, I'm going to tell you what I hear. You may have some of these, you may not, but I'm going to tell you what I hear all the time. It's my area. People call up, Dr. Fred, I know it's not my area, but it's my area. Okay. Well, let's go to Chris and Lauren. 62% are on welfare. It's not your area. It's what you believe. If you believe it's your area, what you've learned is you didn't learn how to talk to people in your area. Now, when I came out of school, I went to LACC. I started practice. Well, I started independent contractor in Newport Beach. Then I moved to Wilmington, North Carolina. Very different area. Man, I had to learn a whole new language. So were those different demographics 180 degrees apart? Did I have to learn to speak differently to people? Totally. Did I still have the same scripts? Yes, with my first coach. However, I had to use different vocabulary. Now we grew. Now is it 450-ish, 500 in Newport? I went to Wilmington, North Carolina, went from 0 to 500 in 6 months. Why? Because I changed my language. So it wasn't my area. Yeah. Did it prevent growth? No. Why? Because I had to learn how to speak to the people in that area. So if you think it's your area, what it means is you haven't learned to speak to a certain demographic in that area. People can't afford it. Well, I think you know better than that. They can't afford it. You haven't shown them why. People live too far. They don't want to commute. Well, that's not true because, you have CBP people, a lot of the instructors and the higher level CBP people. That people fly from other countries, pay $3,000, come for 2 weeks. So they don't live too far. The people get on a plane. People want to use their insurance. Yeah, they do. But if you show them why, they don't care. Growth is going to be a lot of work. Well, it's a lot of work if you're pushing the boulder uphill. Now, if your practice gets bigger, do you need more CBP equipment? Well, yeah. Well, do you run out of space? Well, put the maximum amount you want in that space, right? And then you can go from there. But when patients are committed, if it's more work, then it's your system. It's your system. Well, then I have to buy more equipment. Well, yeah, you have a boatload more money, and it's actually a darn pleasure. Well, I don't want to be salesy, or I don't want to scare them into care. I get this one all the time. Here's the problem. This isn't your fault because many management groups do use scare tactics because they don't understand how to change beliefs. They haven't done 20 years of research on human behavior and incorporated this in. So there are some systems that are salesy, and they do scare people. Why? Because they don't know how to change beliefs. So I don't blame you. I never wanted to be either salesy or scare people. We do tell them the principle, but it's not through scarcity. It's through motivation. I have to learn technique first. I think we handled that already. Now, here's the problem. Doctors adapt their systems to their beliefs. What's that mean? Well, I stopped teaching a workshop because we couldn't get people there. Well, you know what? I, too, had challenges getting people to the workshop, but I didn't stop teaching the workshop because everybody that taught the workshop knows those are the best kind of patients. We just had to learn how to change our beliefs to actually wanted to go. And we set up a system where 8 out of 10 will go to the workshop in the first week. But the bottom line is, if your system isn't working, you don't adapt new beliefs about the system like it's my area. No, it's your systems, right? It's not they can't afford it. No, it's your systems. It's not that I have to take insurance. No, it's your systems. So let's not adapt our systems to our beliefs. Let's adapt our systems to match what we want to achieve. The limiting belief in language and patterns of you and your team is what holds you back. So let's go through this. What are a few emotional triggers that hold us back? Because until you clear those, it's tough to clear them in other people. If you think people can't afford it, you're going to be hearing, I can't afford it all the time. Well, here's one belief. Growth is more work. Well, if growth is more work, then your systems aren't the right systems. Growth, really, what's the reality? Growth is easier. How do you know? Well, look at these people that grew their practice 50% in 3 months. Do you think it's because they worked harder? All of a sudden, you bust your ass, right? You're pushing the boulder uphill, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, what changed that made these people be stuck at a certain level for years, and then all of a sudden they grow 50% in 90 days? And we told them they were going to do that in advance because they changed their systems, and growth became easier. You don't grow that fast by working harder. What happens is because you'll burn out, and then your practice will drop. Have you ever grown, drop back down, grown, drop back down? That's because your systems can't sustain the volume. They changed your system. Growth was easier. You're successful. I've had some people say, well, why should I do this? I mean, yeah, I get 5 out of 10, but, my life is good. Or I get 6 or 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. But I have a good life. Well, you're not doing it because you're successful. See, it's not that you don't need it. but your patients need it. There's 5 that just walked out. They're going to live a subluxated life. This isn't doing it for you. Yes, you have a great life, but you're doing it for those subluxated people that walk out, that their life will never be the same. Are you committed to the people, or is it just the life you want? Neither is right or wrong. My question is you have the gift of being unsubluxated. Can we do that for more people? And let's make it easy. And success is not fulfillment. There's plenty of successful people that feel they can do more, but it's that feeling in here. So if this is for people that want fulfillment, hey, if you need success, you definitely need to be here. If you want fulfillment, you can be here and you can achieve that. I need to know what fulfillment is for you. I can't afford it. Well, this is fascinating because I always run into this. The same reason why one person won't invest in themselves is exactly why another person will. So it's also the reason that you want to do it, right? Because you can't afford it. Are you tired of saying I can't afford it, right? And if you're saying that, you're probably hearing it from some of your patients. So I'm going to go through this. This is Dr. Chris Miners calls me up. I just remember it was late at night. I mean, shoot, it was probably like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock my time, it seemed, Pacific time. He's on East Coast. So this was definitely after dinner hours. Calls me up, man, he's desperate. I need help. I tell him, man, I can help you. All I have is $1,000. This is a $20,000 program. He invested his last. I said, Chris, he said, all I have is $1,000. I go, if you can invest in that. He goes, I have no idea how I'll make another payment. And this is what I'm committed to if you're in this situation. I told him, don't worry about it, but you have to promise me you bust your ass. Number 1, bust your ass, get these scripts down. Number 2, get to the next boot camp. He said, great, I'll do it. Fortunately, the next boot camp was, I think, maybe 6 weeks away. Man, he got on it, started busting his scripts. Things started turning around. I go, man, you're going to make your next payment back before 30 days. So what happened? He paid off the whole coaching program, $20,000 in 90 days. So he went from his last $1,000. Now, would he be a person that would say, I can't afford it? Because I've had people say, I can't afford it, that had a lot more than his last $1,000. But Chris wanted to change. What did he say? I don't want to be like this anymore. In 90 days, he paid off the whole 20 grand. He also expanded his clinic, became certified in CBP, expanded the square footage, filled it with CBP equipment, got certified, bought a new house. So he went from his last $1,000 to a full CBP clinic in a new house for his family, just got married, bought a new house, ended up adopting, I think, his grandkid. For 1 year, he called me every Friday and thanked me, almost in tears, because his life was changed. See, here's a person, it's not about the money you have, gang. It's about your commitment to fulfill your purpose. Are you ready to commit to that? Samantha Coleman, CBP certified, already has successful practice. She calls up, I need systems. Why? She's stuck at 160 a week. She grew 40% her first year. She said, all I want to do, let me back up. All I want to do is be over 200 a week. That's all I want. I just want to be over 200 a week. No problem. We're going to get there. It's not going to take that long. It runs smoother. Now, when the time I made this PowerPoint, which is a month ago, she had 268. She was at 160, runs smoother at 268. She works less hard at 268, meaning it's easier. Why? Because she's got a team, she's got systems, it works. Kyle Fogel, how awesome is that? Certified long-term CBP. So here you go, at 100 visits a week. Now that's more people on CBP equipment, but it's easier because you have better patients and more patients committed to lifetime care, which don't need as much rehab either. Kyle Fogel, now CBP certified, called me up, stuck 120 a week, wasn't getting great commitment to care, busted over 200, 80+% commitment to care, 50% increase in collections. That's amazing. Now here's the deal. When you go to the boot camps, you see it, you look at people that are, that seem like normal people. I mean, it's not like, these are people that they just have commitment. Now, they're atypical. Why? Because of their conviction and because of their results. But they studied to learn it. They didn't start that way. We all have uniqueness inside us. And what you're going to say, and when you see these testimonials, if they can do it, we can do it. If they can do it, you can do it. If any one of these people did it, the worst one, Chris Myers. Not that he was the worst. He started from the lowest point. But he had the potential. He just needed the way. If they can do it, you can do it. Here's secret number 3. Here's why the profession is where we're at. We've done what we've been taught. What's that mean? What have coaches taught us? I had coaches tell me this. Give them what they want and then teach them what they need. What's that mean? Give them pain relief and then teach them about the principle. Right? Also, what else did we learn? There's many coaching groups that teach this today. Well, we know that people buy with emotion and justify with facts. So what do we do? Mrs. Jones, how is your back pain affecting your life? Here's how the brain works, gang. This is straight human behavior. You're going to find this anywhere you look. The limbic brain, it associates emotion with a condition. So when people come in pain, they're under a highly emotional physiologic condition. Now you're associating pain with an emotion about their life. So that means when you associate those, it gets neurologically wired and creates a behavior pattern that the brain now files into the subconscious mind. So what's that mean? That means when the pain's gone, the condition's gone, that means they change their behavior. By the way, and also let me give you one thing, when you give them a choice. So if you talk about all that and then you give them a choice for pain care, but you say, well, you can do pain care, you can do relief care, or you can do correction. Now, there's some people that will pick correction, but there's some people, they're already wired so strong, they're just going to pick it because you gave it to them, because you set them up for it, because you put them in that neuro-emotional pattern. And what happens is all of this is totally against all human behavior for long-term commitment. Whew. It's totally against all human behavior for long-term. That means creating lifetime patience. Long-term behavior. Pleasure, pain ignites change. So this gets them in the program. This will close them. It gets them in the program, right? But it doesn't create a lifetime patient. Now, can you do this and still create lifetime patients? Of course you can. I'm not saying that none of these are going to not become lifetime patients, because they build a relationship, you build trust. 20% are going to get it no matter what you do. So, but do you want 80%? Do you want 90%? Look, I'm not telling you if you do this, you can't be successful. There's groups that teach this, and they're going to help you get more into patients. Hey, if you're at 20, 30%, then do this. You're going to bump it up to 50 or 60. You know what I mean? But what percent of those are going to become lifetime? So if you're doing this and you look back at all the new patients you had last year, what percentage of every new patient that put pen to paperwork became lifetime patients? That's what I would ask. And if you want to be more than 10 or 20 or 30, and you want that to 80 or 90, because that's what we do. And we also don't do this on day one. So here's what you learn about human behavior. What you say and do on day one sets the foundation for all their future decisions. Seriously, man, how you do that consultation? We get them on overall health. Now there's ways, we have a whole boot camp on day 1, day 2. My God, if you just did that and you saw how to wire people for long-term change, man, you'll be amazed at the commitment. By the way, we do the new patient tour and all those things. We have people asking about lifetime care on day 1. It's amazing if stuff works. People don't buy what they need. See, when you keep telling what they need, doc, I know I need this, but how many times you heard that? Doc, it makes sense, but I know I need this, but, right? People buy what they want. They don't buy what they need. How do you make them want it? If people bought what they needed, there wouldn't be anything more. We'd still have the 1960 Volkswagen, Bug on the road, right? Remember Herbie, number 51 or 53 or whatever number that was? Those would be all the cars, because that's all we need. People buy what they want. That's why there's Ferraris and Lamborghinis. People will they'll spend so much money because they want it. How do you make people want it? You change their beliefs. There you go, gang. That's it. Tim Radcliffe learned how to change his belief. He was with another coach, talked to him for 3 years, CBP. had this big vision. It was a big vision. His old coach would say, no, 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 keep it simple, keep it simple. He's like, I would tell him 3 years, dude, I can help you reach that vision. He grew 50% within the first 6 months. Now he was starting about 325 a week. So we went from 325, I believe it was 325 to 350, blew through 500. Now you don't have to see those numbers, but if you're at 60 a week, would you like to be at 120? Okay. So, or like Miles, 150 to 180. So, I mean, if you can grow that fast, he learned how to change beliefs. Double his income in the first year. Now, he was doing 300, 325, right? 1.2. He gained $1 million a year. Went from 1.2 to 2.2 in 1 year. Now, have I had other people do this? Yes, we have. But these are, this is the exception. Every group has the exception. Tim was an exception. But he also opened up clinic runs without him. He also opened up a 15,000 square foot clinic with 20 plus team members. So, and he got a high volume, and then he's peaked over 700. Full CBP. Now the question is, you're like, oh my God, I don't even want that. Well, that's not the point. The point is you deserve your vision. But if we can show a person how to go from 1 million to 2 million, have a 15 go from a clinic to a 15,000 square foot clinic with 20 plus team members, and run that full CBP, do you think we can help you with your goals? What's your vision? If your vision is less than that, then I'm pretty sure. So $20,000 got him $1 million. Was that a great investment? Joe and Pilar Labriola, totally frustrated with the management group, quit. I hate management groups, nothing. Ran into problems. When they called me, they're about 80 a week. They just blew through 250. Their income and retention has increased exponentially. They just last month had their highest month. They went from struggling, paying their bills, to the next year they're going to do over $1 million. They're going to do over $1 million a year. Now it's not about the million. What are they thankful for? Well, yeah, the money is security, but when I talk to them, they're not thankful for the money. They're thankful for the relationships. They're thankful for the lifetime patience. They're thankful that it's predictable. They're thankful that their team now runs their practice for them. They're thankful that it went from stress to fun. She asked me to share this with you. So you notice the red. They got out of the coaching group, right? They started to tank, economy changed, insurance less, things started going down that circle. That's when they joined Elite. Right? Boom. All of a sudden, look at the change. This is their income and visits. So they went through a bit of a lull. They watched their practice crash. Why? Because they were in a group that marketing. I'm going to show you on the next graph. They burned out on marketing. You stop marketing, what happens? Because they didn't create believers. See, this is Italian. Because they didn't create believers and they didn't market and they burned out from marketing, their practice dropped. So what's happening? They were pushing the boulder uphill. They joined Elite. Boom, look at that immediate increase. Why? They created believers. By the way, they didn't do any marketing. When you see those lines going up, that's not from marketing. That's from referrals, believers, retention. Let's go to the next one. Where it's at the bottom, they open a new practice. Boom, immediately got a coaching room, market. Thank you, God, we got our practice up. Okay, great. Look at the red down. That's where, okay, burned down, I stopped marketing. Now I got to market, grow. Okay, now we stop marketing. Boom. Now I got to market. Now we stop marketing. Now I got to market. Now I'm burned out. I'm tired of freaking marketing. Look what happens. Why? They didn't create believers. They created chiropractic users. Join Elite. We create believers. Boom. Through the roof. Look at that. Same thing. Patient retention. Patient visits. Market, great. No market, suck. Market, great. No market, sucks. You get the basic idea. Joins Elite. All referrals, no marketing. Boom. Through the roof. How thankful are they? She sent me these and asked me to put them on this PowerPoint. This wasn't me, gang. Why? Because they want you, if you know what to the left of that line feels like, to the left of that Elite coaching feels like, because I was there too. If I didn't get 40 new patients a month and then I figured all this out, human behavior, my graph looked like their graph. And then I felt responsible because then it was like, I want to change the profession. Okay. And now they want to do that. So you don't have to want to change the profession, but when you get those results, you fulfill your vision. And that's really the best thing. That's a great start. Dustin Taylor, I met him at a boot camp. Went to the coaching. I met him at CBP. Got a boot camp. He joined the coaching immediately. $20,000 investment, increased gross collections $450,000 in the first year. Bought his team to every boot camp for the first year. So by the time you look at flights and all that, he made over 10 times his investment, $500,000. Team runs a practice. He just cruises. He's now an elite coach. He's also advanced certified CBP. So there you go, gang. I mean, you see what people get, $20,000 investment, man, change their life. So congratulations. So what do we have? Creating chiropractic believers. Man, that's what we want to do. My question to you is, after seeing all that, it's possible. It's funny because, I was talking to a person, who was it was a client thanking me about Elite. And it's like, man, he was giving me his testimonials. And I thought, you know what? These testimonials are almost unbelievable. Like, you look at that, they're unbelievable. How do we do that? Yet we see it all the way across Elite. So much that we guarantee 30 to 50% increase in 90 days when you invest in the patient management system. So this is up to you. So my question to you is, do you want 3 to 5 more to commit? If 3 to 5 more committed even a month, let alone you could get 2 to 3 more a week, right? At least that. But what if they did that a month? Would that change your vision? Would that change your team? Would that change your inspiration? So what I want to know is, you want to increase the number of patients' commitment to care. And what if you could increase your lifetime care even 30 to 50%? I mean, how many chiropractors without this training get 50%? There's not many into lifetime care. What if you could just do that? Well, here's what I'm offering. It's just a 30-minute phone call. That's it. It's just, let's talk on the phone. Tell me where your challenges are. Tell me what you're doing right now. Let's go over your challenges. Let's talk about what your strengths are, because there's so many people that are doing good things. So it's not about changing what you're doing is right. Here's where people get scared. Well, what I'm doing is working. I don't want to change. I don't want to change. Well, if what you're doing, if parts are working well, don't change them, right? This is modeling. Don't change it. But if there's an area that you could change that could enhance your strengths, or they could make a difference, man, that would help your growth. So we're not about saying, okay, wipe it all out, let's change. Oh my God, I would be the worst coach in the world if I did that. There'd be no way. Let's look at what you're doing and let's enhance your strengths, and then look at maybe some weak areas and then see what can we give you from that. And then I want to know, what are your challenges? What are your strengths? What's your vision, man? What do you want to create in your practice? Because you deserve to fulfill it. Then what do you want to create in your life? So many people call me because the one thing they want is freedom. In the first 11 years of practice, I didn't take 1 week-long vacation. I would take, long weekends, but it wasn't worth it because my retention wasn't great enough. So I could create a great practice, and I love the purpose, so I had a great life, but I never traveled. I didn't go to a foreign country for those 11 years. I had visions of traveling overseas, never did it because I thought, I can't take 2 weeks off, right? So what life do you want to create? And then I promise I'll give you one thing that will make a difference. So this 30-minute call is about one thing. So what I'd like you to do is email me, take this number down, email address, drfred1@msn.com, and give me the best number. Give me cell and office number and email it to me. And then I'll call you. We'll set up a time and we'll just chat. And what I'm promising you is I'm going to give you at least one thing that will make a difference. So let's see what you want. Let's figure out what you want. Not just success, but fulfillment. And if I can give you one thing that can make a difference in your life, then we'll have a great relationship. Now I'm going to end with this one story. This is Keith Jassy. I met him 5 or 6 years ago, and he was battling leukemia. He didn't look this good then, but he was battling leukemia, and he went, showed up some seminars and ended up, we had a great relationship. He ended up joining another coaching group, paid tens of thousands of dollars, didn't really get the result because he had a son come out of school, right? And so he wanted his son to have a coach because obviously he needs to heal. He can't, it was a struggle. And so, he's got a life change. So finally he comes back after spending tens of thousands with another coach. He signed up October 2017. $20,000. He made his initial investment back in 60 days in profits. So he made $20,000 above and beyond what he was making before in 60 days. How powerful is that? January 2018, he's making over $10,000 a month more. That means if all he did was stay there in 90 days, with the growth he had in 90 days, if he would just stay there, he'd make $120,000 a month. But we guarantee, right? You get 10 times that. So he's obviously going to make more. But guess what else? His son, who just got out of school, has become a great leader. He's gotten confidence. He knows how to look at numbers and turn them into lifetime patients. He went to the boot camps. So he runs his practice. Now, how fulfilling is that for a dad to see his son running his practice and breaking all-time records? How amazing is that? Not only that, thank God, Keith, he's the principal kept him alive. He's healing of cancer. Now he takes vacations. He's not tied to the practice. He busted his butt all those years. Not only is he healing, he's creating a great life with freedom with his wife to be able to get through that disease and be on the other side and to have a great life and to watch your son excel in chiropractic. Man, there's nothing better. So, I told Keith I was going to tell this story. And for all those who would love to talk to Keith, Keith offered me to give his phone number. So when you email me, if you want to talk to Keith, he would love to talk to any of you, and just give you words of wisdom for a guy that's been in the profession over 30 years, faced some big battles, and made it to the other side. So here's my info, gang. Dr. Fred 1. Hey, if you want to just call me, that 949 number is my coaching line. The 425 number is my cell number. So, hey, just go to that. Give me a call. Email me. Let me know what you want to do. And, let me give you a hand. We'll give you some great tips, and we'll do some great stuff. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Love you all. We're here to make a difference. Let's have an amazing relationship. Thanks. Peace. Love you.